Late July 1939. The Royal Mail steamer Ionian lies in the bay at Gibraltar, unloading stores for the naval base. Steel, explosives, cement, beer, telephone poles, corrugated iron, aeroplane spares, bound for Malta, Cyprus, and Alexandria. A 3,000-ton coal burner, fast for her class, about to make an entirely ordinary run around the Mediterranean. Below decks, that ordinary run is hard physical work. The stoke hole runs close to 120 degrees, and the engineer checks the bearings by hand, watching for any sign of overheating. At noon, Captain Smith takes his position the old way, sextant raised, shooting the sun to fix the ship exactly where she is. 3.5 days out from Gibraltar, the bosun has the men rig awnings against the sun before they're anywhere near it properly. A day off Malta, the wireless operator picks up word: Valletta Harbour by 6 o'clock Sunday evening. Next morning, the real work begins. Steel parts and angle iron out of the hold and onto lighters, bound for the dockyard repair shops. In Malta's floating dock sits a Queen Elizabeth-class battleship, the Barham, one of 3 Mediterranean fleet ships this voyage will cross paths with, sharing the same waters as an ordinary cargo run without either side thinking much of it. That's the arrangement, in peacetime as much as war. The merchant navy keeps Britain's larders full and her foreign trade moving, ferries stores out to the naval bases and ships, and supplies men for the naval reserve. In return, the navy keeps the merchant ships, their cargo, and their crews safe. Neither works without the other. Heavy naval cargo means hard wear on the gear, so on the way to Haifa, the crew fit extra strong steel runners and rig new blocks, bracing for the strain of what's coming. "12 days out from London, the Ionian ties up at Haifa, Mount Carmel rising behind the harbour. Across the water, 4 G-class destroyers lie at anchor: Garland, Grafton, Griffin, and Greyhound, built only 3 years earlier, fast and bristling with torpedo tubes. Against them, the Ionian works with barely a whistle, one winch quietly unloading corrugated iron. Cyprus comes next, port by small port, because most of the island's harbours aren't deep enough for a ship this size. Only Famagusta lets her come alongside properly. At Larnaca, she has to lie a mile out, anchored beside the cruiser Shropshire, sharing the same open water. round the north coast to Kyrenia, then on to Paphos, where, beneath the ruins of the old temple of Venus, the crew load locust beans, oil and wine for the journey home. South for Alexandria, where flying boats come down on the harbour like something from another world entirely. And there, off the starboard bow, is the second of this voyage's battleships. The Malaya, sister ship to the Bahram, armed and enormous alongside the Ionian's ordinary cargo work. A red powder flag goes up, the signal for explosives aboard, cleared first as always. Crated among them, aeroplane parts bound for the RAF depot at Abu Qir Bay. Then comes the heaviest single load of the entire voyage, 700 tons of chains and anchors for a new floating dock. The strain on the derricks and winches serious enough that the mate barely takes his eyes off them. More cargo for Egypt itself follows, cement for new roads reaching toward the Sudan, destined to travel on by Nile boat down the Mahmoudiya Canal. Then, loading on into the night, Egyptian cotton, oil cake, and onions for the journey home. Early the next morning, the Ionian sails for London, passing the cruiser Amphion, the Warspite, the Malaya again, and the rest of the Mediterranean fleet, before turning west for Gibraltar and the grey water of home. At the end of August 1939, beside the Tower of London, the Ionian unloads her cargo from Cyprus and Alexandria. Cotton, onions, oil, wine, the ordinary trade of an ordinary voyage. Nobody unloading her that day called it her last peacetime cargo. There was no reason yet to call it anything but routine. 3 months later, returning from Crete to Hull, the Ionian struck a German mine and was lost. If you'd like to see more rescued footage like this, subscribe to Archive Britain.